All right, got another identity we're trying to verify. So we've got secant theta minus cosine theta equals tangent theta sine theta. In this case, I'm going to work with the left side. And the reason for that is because I've got two terms here. I find that it's usually easier to combine into a single expression than break something like this up. You could probably do either way, but I usually find it's easier to take something like this, two terms, and combine down to a single. So let's work with this side. So let's see what we see here. So secant, I'm going to rewrite that using my fundamental trig identities. So secant, in fact, let me just kind of, again, model. So secant minus cosine theta, that's the side I'm working with. So secant theta, I can rewrite as 1 over cosine theta. So right now I've got 1 minus cosine theta minus cosine theta. Again, all I did was substitute there. And remember, the answer, the solution to this is really the process. So you want to show all your steps. Well, how could I combine these into a single expression? I need to get a common denominator. Of course, that common denominator is going to be cosine theta. So I need to multiply this side, or this term here, by cosine theta over cosine theta. So if I do that, I'm going to get 1 minus cosine squared theta all over cosine theta. Again, let's see what just happened. So 1 is right here. Where did this come from? I multiplied cosine theta over cosine theta to get a common denominator, and that's where the cosine squared came from. Of course, it's all over cosine theta. You may say, well, boy, I don't see how that really made it simpler. Well, let's see what happens. 1 minus cosine squared, that's the same as sine squared. This is one you get to be pretty familiar with. You do a few of these. It's Pythagorean identity. Again, sine squared plus cosine squared equals 1. So if you rearrange that, 1 minus cosine squared theta is the equivalent of sine squared theta. Now, remember, we know our goal. We have the end in sight. So let's see how I can maybe manipulate that. There is a sign in that, so I've got a sign. So let me break this up. Sine theta over cosine theta times sine theta. So I just broke that sine squared into sine times sine, because there's a sine right there. Hey, I've got that. Oh, can you see where we're going? Sine over cosine is tangent theta. Again, that quotient identity. Again, I'm drawing a box around this just because we made it to the end, but the whole answer, remember, is this process, each of our steps.